All right, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Nate Manahan, and I'm in the heart of Indianapolis, Indiana. Fall has strung. The colors are changing. The leaves are changing. But that makes me think Christmas is just around the corner because I was in Lowe's, and all the Christmas trees are up. And absolutely, we are ready to go for Holiday 2020, and you should be prepared to help your merchants with Holiday 2020. And we're going to talk about that now on The High Five.
The time has come, the questions are set, opinions hide, discussions are led, show about nothing and everything, it's all the same. We've got sports, entertainment, sales, and marketing. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered. Yeah. The High Five.
All right, the high five, everybody, and my name is Nate, and I am going to bring up the three-shot that I haven't tested. Oh, look, we're all in frame. Look at that. In the middle, looking dapper. He's wearing his gingham button-down, looking solid. Mr. Brian Linke, how are you, Brian?
I'm great, Nate, and yeah, the button down. I went with the button down today because I knew I'd be the better dressed one out of the three of us. So yeah, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you know what, self, you're looking pretty good. Going with that.
I'm just saying, my J. Crew look here going.
I like.
I'm
You
disappointed.
know, I kind of like that J. Crew. Look,
the sweater hoodie with a little
75
vest.
degrees here. You might be a little warm this
Okay,
afternoon.
I did not look at the weather, and it was cold the last 2 days, and then somebody just said that earlier to me today when I was on video call with them, and I looked at the weather. I was like, oh, I'll be changing this afternoon. We'll be getting another set of clothes. But on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, he, I'm pretty sure, is wearing a PayProTech. If you went to Transcend 2019, back when we did events, you would have gotten one. Mr. Danny Shard. How are you, Danny?
Good morning, High Five Nation. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Nate. I am rocking the PayProTech. You know, you gotta rep your brand, and not all of us can look good in the button up like Brian on just a typical standard Wednesday. So he's showing us up as per usual.
Let me tell you something about that little pullover that Danny's wearing right now. Okay, at the last event, right? Okay, they didn't have. Okay, when I went to go get mine, it was gone. Okay, so I you know, unless I wear a 3XL, which I don't. Okay, I was out.
Oh yeah, they we ordered everything the right, and what was amazing was in order to speed things up, I don't know if you guys remember that, we put everything out on a table. Brian was, serving up some special drinks in the corner. We had golf in the room, and we were handing out our free gifts. And but we had everything. People could pick out what they wanted, and we, it was kind of like your own, pre-COVID when you could all be in a tight space, and we were all right in there, and it was. When everybody was grabbed, it was amazing, and that's what we're there for. Partners get the stuff first, and they took everything, and we didn't have to ship much back, did we, guys?
They didn't take everything because Danny Shard is wearing something. Okay, they took everything that I could wear.
Well,
that
Ridiculous. We don't all have youth smalls. Then it's hard to get into those things, guys.
Good one, Nate.
All right. So this morning we are going to be talking about Holiday 2020. Holidays are coming right around the corner. The Black Friday, Prime Day is now in October. It's like next week. And, the events are starting to happen. People are getting ready. It's amazing how fast, we can get already, the retail's already thinking past Halloween, past Thanksgiving, and has the Christmas decorations up and everything's going on. But this holiday season may be the most important holiday season in the history, specifically for retail and for hospitality. We're going to talk about hospitality on Friday. Today, we're just going to focus on retail. And what I'm going to ask these guys to do is help us think through. I pulled up several articles, and I'm going to bring up some insights about how we can help partners help merchants. But I'm going to start with this question, and I've asked both of these guys. When you bring value other than just how they can take their payments and how they can put a new point of sale system and help them think through how they can expand their business, how does that help you as a sales professional, as an entrepreneurial payments professional who's going out and trying to help these merchants? When you bring and you start talking about how they can do couponing or how they can do gift cards, which pays a little bit into our world, or how they should set up for do things during online sales, or whether they should be running specials or things that we're going to talk about here, how does that set you apart? Brian, we'll start with you and then Danny.
Well, I think the answer is isn't it cash discounting? Isn't that the thing that's changing the game. Isn't that the sales pitch? Isn't that the what you want to be talking to merchants about, especially during the holiday time? Just because, again, without raising prices, without doing anything, just on the back end, I'm thinking just cash discounting is the thing that has changed the game for everybody, right?
Well,
not just for the agents, but for the merchant. The customer has to pay, a little bit of the 4%. But we've talked about it before. 4% is, if somebody's raising their prices, it's not gonna be 4%. It's gonna be 20%, 25%, whatever it is. So I think by helping merchants with cash discounting that's the easy answer, right?
I just want to say, Brian, you are so focused on messaging. You need to go into politics because you can spin any question I ask back to cash discounting, and Danny has absolutely got you focused because it's amazing. I don't even know how that totally fit, but it fit. You got it there. Absolutely, you bring the value.
It is okay. Back in the day, if we're talking about agents, residuals were, you worked so hard to make so little, right? It was just. You had to sell so many accounts, and you'd leave, and then you'd look at your residual and be like, okay, what in the world? I spent 3 weeks to make $11, and it's definitely changed the game. But the other thing is we do it the right way. Danny and I were actually on a call yesterday with an agent, and Dan, you can elaborate a little bit more, but he's talking about surcharging and the company he came from, and I'm just like, okay, they're just doing it the wrong way, and eventually Visa, MasterCard is going to come in and squash it.
That is true. Yeah. So go ahead, Danny.
I gotta say, Nate, I'm in complete agreement with you. I gotta love how Brian spun that back to cash discounting, because that should be at the forefront of everything. But and it is a way that we're going to stand out, especially as cash discount continues to gain popularity. But more so to what you're talking about, Nate, our Q4 promotion, the reason that we came up with this and that we launched this last week was to give our partners a huge competitive advantage to stand out outside of cash discounting even, right? The reality is that cash discounting is starting to become an industry standard. You go to almost every ISO and they're starting to do a form of cash discounting. Now, they're not as knowledgeable. They don't have the pricing structures that we have available for it and how clean we've got it. There's a lot of ways that we do cash discount quite a bit better than most out there. But we're trying to always push our partners to have a big competitive advantage over anybody else. And also, these types of systems and what you're talking about, Nate, it helps drive conversations with merchants. We have to remember as salespeople that we're also driving small businesses to think differently, right? And that can be more than just the way they take payments like you're talking about, Nate. And it's like running promotions, right? Hey, my merchant over here is doing this, right? There's a lot of things that we as salespeople are responsible for to help drive these businesses forward and help them do things, especially during the holiday season, whenever things are picking back up, and that they wouldn't have even thought about, right? They're thinking about opening their doors and getting more inventory and still got to pick up the kids after work. And there's a lot that they're trying to manage. There's so many small businesses that just don't have the time to think about doing promotions and doing certain things, especially during the holiday season, that can help them earn more revenue and pick up business right now. And that's on us. These are things that we can do to be proactive, to help them share what other businesses are doing, get them into solutions that help them do it seamlessly. And like Brian's saying, all in all, eliminating their processing fees entirely.
Well, again, I think, if you're in this for the long term, the long run, I think by helping your merchants, obviously, that's just a way to keep them close and keep them sticky and keep them, processing with you. So yeah, that's just the natural thing is the back end, the support side. And I think that sometimes as salespeople, we forget that, it's not just the sale, right? There's more to it than that.
Well, and I think this quarter is obviously one of the most, it's always an important quarter. It's always the tipping point for so many businesses, but this year more than ever, probably the most ever. And I was talking to one of our partners in Long Island, and he was just talking about the retail and all the stores that are just on the tipping point of going either way. They're going out of business or they're going to stay in business. And now is the time to try to figure out how they're going to be able to do that, and providing some value and helping them think through, okay, Halloween is not going to be the same this year. Thanksgiving is not going to be the same this year. There are things that are just going to be different as all this, and you're going to have to change a little bit how you do business. And some of them have already done that, but you're going to have to change your in-store experience in some ways. Maybe you're going to have to, I was looking at the rules of Pennsylvania with another partner yesterday, where it's like if you can fit 100 people at the fire marshal, you can fit 100 people into your store. You can have 12 in right now. It's like 12% capacity, and it's a different world. So you have to think through: can I put a tent up? Can I change and take, and that's my first tip, is take the in-store experience and the retail store experience you've had in the brick and mortar and make sure it's replicated several different ways, whether it's adding a pop-up store or a tent if you can, or making sure, I really don't think, if you're in retail and you're not online in some way, you are missing out and you're going to get left behind. And so as we think about holidays, one of the things I think about is how can you replicate what your current in-store experience is and take it outside in different ways. Danny, one of the things I'm thinking about you're Brian, both of you are in smaller communities, but places that are focused on trying to have small retail stores that are trying to open up. What have you seen? Have you noticed anything of how they've changed their experiences and how they're trying to help their customers? And even as we think through that, how we might be able to help them think through duplicating that experience, whether it's online, talking about, we show up and help them set up a tent, whatever, to be able to do that. Danny, have you seen any things like that?
That's a really good question, Nate, and I have not. And that is a sign that there's so much opportunity for us to drive a lot of these merchants forward. Now, obviously, in bigger metropolitan areas, small to medium businesses are taking note from the big boys, and they're really just in more saturated markets, that they're moving forward and trying to get themselves out there because there's a lot more competition, right? Small town America that Brian and I are both in, I'm not seeing it. Maybe Brian is. I'm not seeing that much. I'm not seeing a lot of these small local restaurants and others implement things like online ordering. And I think that's a massive opportunity. If you're out there in the US in any market that is, probably less than 50 and 100,000 people, then you're probably seeing the same thing, where a lot of these SMBs are not doing that because they're just trying to kind of get back to normal, but they're not thinking differently. They're not thinking ahead. And that's where we come in. That's a huge way to stand out in those markets, is to drive those businesses forward, get them out there, get them thinking differently. Heck, let them be the first one on the block that has their own website and online ordering and doing things like that, right? Because others will follow.
Well, and I think one of the things that we know is that how people shop has changed. If you look, and I have seen the charts, and I should have pulled one up. I don't have one, of the incredible rocket ship that online ordering has become. Not just Amazon, though Amazon obviously has done very well, and the back pocket of Jeff Bezos is not anything all of us wouldn't mind being able to pull a little extra out of. But the fact is that people are changing how they shop, and if you aren't changing your retail, if you aren't changing how you're doing it, you're missing out. And even in places like Warsaw, Brian, one of the things I would encourage our businesses to think about is, man, make sure you have an email of every customer that you've ever had walk through your door. Figure out some type of transaction to get a hold of that. Because if you had that, I've watched these places, and this is true in Glenwood Springs too, the places that have struggled because they haven't had that tourism boost over the year. I was talking to one of the Warsaw merchants recently, and they said, man, I just didn't have the summer that I usually had. We had some people here, but we were probably like 50 or 60% because people weren't coming to the lakes and coming to hang out. And so we weren't getting people to come through like they normally do. And I said, well, then what did you offer those people that normally come to either entice them or give them something that you'll ship them? Do you want that experience? Even if you're a restaurant, which we're not talking hospitality, you could have shipped, hey, you missed our soup. I'll ship you drop ship a thing of our soup to you. I mean, whatever that is. Brian, have you seen, like, I know, like, there are a couple stores in there that have done some unique things in Warsaw to try to draw people in, put some tents up, trying to create some spaces. But in holidays, we're going to have to think through that, because if people aren't willing to go out, I don't think Black Friday is going to be, I think it's going to be like 70% in most places. And in some states, there are some places, I don't know that they'll still be open. I mean, there are still some states that are very closed down. I don't know what that's all going to look like when it comes to the end of November.
Well, I think obviously the weather has a lot to do with it as well, and we've been extremely fortunate, here in Indiana that this week is maybe the greatest weather week of all time. I mean, it's going to be 70 degrees and not a cloud in the sky the entire week. Yeah, no, it's craziness, and so I think that's going to continue for the next couple of weeks anyway, at least into the 60s. So I think some of the retail places are fortunate in that respect. But they're going to have to, put their heads together and figure out, the pop-up tents. I think the restaurants, I mean, I know we don't want to really get into the hospitality yet, but I think they did a pretty good job, most of them, especially around here, of kind of like refocusing, what they're going to do, when the shutdown, as far as like the takeout. And I know we did it during Easter. We get the Easter meal with the whole thing. And I think you're going to see a lot of that during Thanksgiving. And I think you're going to see a lot of that during Christmas as well. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things that a lot of these places, and I was reading some of these experts in retail, they're saying focus on in-store efficiency more than you've ever had. People, once they've chosen, they don't want to stand in a long line. They don't want to have to wait and figure out how you can check people out faster. Well, one of the things, this pulls into us, this is what we do. We have lots of ways that we can check you out faster. We can do handhelds. You can do, you can do line breaking by being able to jump in there, whether with a Pay Anywhere Flex or if you're using Paradise and you're jumping in there with an iPad Mini and you're coming in and you're able to make the scans. You can think through your in-store experience. And I think a lot of retail places are not thinking through that, and they're going to get beat by those who do, because wherever there's competition, especially in the mid-sized to larger cities, those places where they think through how easy it is to make that purchase, or even to be able to go in, I want to see that and that and that, and drop ship it and say, you don't even need to take it with you. We are going to put it in a box. We're going to mail it to your house, and it's going to be there tomorrow or the next day.
Well,
there are unique ways to do that.
A lot of people, just like in life, I think a lot of people, they're like, okay, you know what, things are okay right now, things are okay, and they're not looking ahead.
Yeah,
and that's a problem. Right. They're just like, you know what, if it happens, it happens, and then we'll deal with it when it happens, which a lot of people live their lives that way. But I think that's more the mindset around here. And like you said, Nate, I think it might come back and bite them.
Yeah. Well, I think we've seen, I mean, certainly people are still shopping. They're still spending their money. But we know by National Retail Foundation that they're seeing still 60% of the shoppers that are usually in the stores that would have been last year are not in the stores today. And that's not always based on the rules. That's just based on their personal feelings. And like we've said this during this whole time, that's not going to change. And we need to lead the way to help our merchants think through, are there a few things that we can tweak to make it easier to be able to shop? Now let's talk personal experiences here. Danny, I'm intrigued. How often do you go physically into the store, and is it less than what you would have done, say, let's just take it a year ago, in October of 2019?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to go into stores more. I haven't gone out as much as I normally would throughout the summer, mostly because my wife's pregnant and we're just trying to be a little bit more cautious. As most of you know, I am still playing a lot of golf, so there's that. But I'm not finding myself going into stores and out as much as I used to for that reason. But around where I live, it honestly seems like it's pretty much back to normal, other than schools for some reason. But restaurants are at full capacity; just have to wear a mask. It seems like it's pretty normal, other than the schools. So.
Well, I think that's the unique thing here, that's state by state. We're about 26 of the 50 states that are still at majorly reduced capacities, and then it's even different from county to county, because the rules that are true in Warsaw, Indiana, are not what's true 2 hours south here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Right.
Our county has different rules, and so that's part of the thing. And we just don't know what this is going to look like, but this is what I say. Let's help our merchants think through and think ahead of this, because we don't know what November and December is going to look like. There's so many things and caveats that can change. But what we do know is that consumerism has changed. And if we don't want to allow our merchants to get passed by. And if we can help them take their product, make sure it's online, have line-breaking circumstances to be able to think through, okay, how am I going to make sure that everybody can buy gift cards even? Or how can I make sure I'm going to think through promotions that are focused on providing value? How much are you guys, because thinking holiday 2020, one of the biggest things always is people are looking for the sales. And probably having the three men that are on this call, on this time in the show right now is maybe not the best, example of this. But how much are you guys driven by the specials of holidays and creating those specials and, being able to have the quote unquote savings when it comes to Black Friday or Cyber Monday or all those little sales that go on from the holiday season 2020? Are you guys driven by that?
I mean, listen, I'm a hustler's dream, right? I mean, if there's a deal, if there's a sale, of course I'm interested in it. And so I think that the majority of consumers are, especially this year, right? They want to get something cool. They want to have something for their family for the holidays. So I think like you're saying, and like we're talking about, like now's the time for people to run these promotions, because you're going to get a lot of traffic. Run the sales, run the promotions, but it's on us to talk to merchants about it.
Well, and try to help them.
I think you made a great point before. Like every single retail merchant should be getting an email address of every single person that comes into their store and shoot them an email, because I can tell you right now, some of these bigger places, like American Eagle and Hugo Boss and Threads for Thought, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head the ones that I get. They are just bombarding me with emails, one after the other, 25%, 35%, free shipping, blah, 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 blah. And, a lot of times, I'm just, I'm busy during the day and I'm just deleting, but, all of a sudden it slows down towards the end of the day. Next thing you know, I'm clicking on something and 3 days later it arrives at the office. So like I'm the worst when it comes to that, but like Danny said, I mean, we definitely pay attention, but I think one of the things these retail places can do, like you said, get the email addresses of people and shoot them emails of the specials that you're running.
Yeah. Well, and knowing how all of our systems deal with, coupons and specials and even then loyalty. So what does Pay Anywhere do when it comes to couponing and discounts? Because it does have discount buttons, but it doesn't do loyalty. But if you want to do loyalty, which systems of ours do? Retail Cloud and Vend, when it comes to, they can manage and make things so simple when it comes to these specials and make that, one push button and I'm going to take this whole department and give it 10% off, or I'm going to create this coupon code and it's only good because I'm going to worry this is a coupon code that's only good for Cyber Monday or only good for Black Friday. And that coupon code that when they walk in, if one of my workers thinks, oh, it's, the Tuesday after, I'm just going to use it. Well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, we can create and think through systems that make their life easier. And you mix that with the fact that we're going to give you 12 months free and you qualified because of cash discount for a free placement. And you have all of this, ammunition to be able to think through not just how here's the great offer from us, but how you do offers, and we're here to help you think through what are some of the best offers you can offer. I'm going to throw this, guys. What are the things that draw you in when it comes to offers? Is it percentage off? Is it free shipping? Is it what draws you in when those comes in? Danny, you said you love the deal. What is a specific type of deal that is the one that kind of draws you in?
Yeah, I think it's the percentage off probably is what draws me in, but it really differs. It depends on the product. It depends on the dollar amount, obviously, as well. But I think the percentage off. Whenever I see something that says 40% off for the next 30 days or something like that, I'm gonna be like, okay, what is it? I don't really care. It's 40% off, and I'm gonna look at it. So I think that's gonna grab my attention more than anything.
And what I would do right away is say to the merchant, you're offering 40% off. Did that make you more money because you did that? And I would look at their POS system and say, your system should be able to spit a report at one button both Retail Cloud and Venn can do this and tell you whether you made more money now than you did the year before, especially if as long as you've been using it for that period of time, or you may have to feed it a little information from last year's sales. But you'd be able to say, I sold 12 last month, I sold 60 this month, but I sold it at 40% off. This is how much money I lost because of my discount, but this is how much I made because I sold so much more. And you can do that by one button report. That's pretty important stuff that you can point out to a merchant, right, Brian?
Well, I think, yeah. And I mean, I think that's the selling point. I think, how much money are you making on the back end, right? And a point of sale system is something that will tell you that, again, back to, I know we're talking retail, but even in restaurants, I mean, most of these guys, you look at their menu and it's like, okay, there's so many things on it, and that they're not selling all, everything that's on there, but by putting a point of sale system, if it leaves the kitchen, it's in the system. So you'll know what you're selling, and you can save money. Forget on the front end by charging people, more money or even, laugh at the cash discounting, but like on the back end, instead of, it's like, okay, where did they, there were 24 beers in this case before, how come there's 18 of them there now? Well, okay, you know what? Now you're going to know.
And I think, being able to do all those, making returns easy. I mean, how many things are returned after the holiday season? But if returns are a pain in the rear for accounting because it switches over often in a tax year and a calendar year, and you're doing all this reporting and you're running in over your swipe box and saying, yes, I'll give you the return, and you push the return button on their dumb swipe box, but the only reporting done is suddenly you had that $27.46 taken back out of your account because it was a refund and you were running it the other way. But a POS system helps you monitor that whole sum. You find the transaction, they do it, you run it by the transaction ID, you hit refund, you know exactly who and watch exactly how many refunds. There's so many things that are coming into the holiday experience that you can help your merchants start thinking through. And it doesn't mean you have to be a complete expert about it, but you need to start thinking and helping them think through how can they change their processes to make holidays go better, because we want to help them ultimately. Like Brian said, it's about how much money they make, which means they need to increase their sales and they need to make this quarter the best quarter ever. We want to do that for PayProTech, and we want to help our merchants do that and start thinking through holiday 2020. Gentlemen, I'm going to bring all three of us up. What do you think as we come in? I just think there's a huge opportunity also to start looking at our current merchant base that may still be using some of these antiquated hardware and walking in and saying, look, 1, cash discount, 2, POS, because this is the most important quarter of your business, because we know that come January and February of 2021, there is going to be a larger percentage than normal of businesses go out of business, and we don't want it to be yours.
Well, there's a reason we're running the point of sale promotion in the fourth quarter, right? I mean, it's not just because we want to be nice guys. We're trying to support and help merchants by offering free 12 months with no software fees and yeah, I mean, so right now, I mean, if you're an agent and you're not going out there and you're not pushing the promotion that we're running, then you're just you're leaving money on the table.
Yep. And right now, just like Nate, you're talking about, I can't stress enough that, as we continue to talk about adding value with POS systems, with things like cash discount, I can't stress enough the importance of helping your merchants think outside the box and think differently, like Nate's talking about, right? Talk to them about all these different options. Talk to them about running sales. Talk to them about different ways that they can run sales and how these systems can help them do that. I'm telling you, it's going to make you more valuable to the merchant, right? You're going to be more of a business advisor and a trusted consultant than you are the person that handles their payment processing. So do that, right? I mean, have those conversations. And like Nate's talking about, more so with your existing merchants. This is a great way to acquire new business here in the fourth quarter with these promotions and things that we're doing and having these types of conversations. But more importantly, don't forget about your current merchant base. Whether they're using the dumb swipe box terminals or they're using some of these POS systems, we need to be having these conversations with every merchant that's in our portfolio as well to make sure we're helping them and that we add value to them and they see us as valuable. That's super important, and that's part of it being sticky. It's more than the systems, more than the pricing. If you can add a lot more value and you're valuable to that merchant because you're bringing a lot of this to their attention and helping them implement things like this, you're going to have an account for a lot longer. So use this, and now's the time to take advantage of it.
Well, and what you don't want to do is bring it up in December 4th when they and say, well, I would have done it this way, or I would have done, because you don't want to hear this. Whoops, wrong button, but this. I don't know if you remember that. We used to use that back in there, and what might have been, yes, or you can do the wrong trombones. I thought I had sad trombones on. I don't. But what happens is you don't want to go to the merchant and say, I could have helped you back in October, but instead I'm coming into December and saying it's too late. So you've got about a 6 to 7 week window right now. That's a mad rush. There are things you can help, and we'll talk about that when it comes to time. But right now you have a huge opportunity to put your foot forward and start helping these retailers think through. We want to make this the best fourth quarter and the best holiday season that you've ever had, even during these trying times, even during the times where, and remember, you guys know why we call it Black Friday, right? You guys know? Yep, I lost Danny over there.
I don't think I know.
Do you know why it's called Black Friday?
Friday?
Why it's Black Friday,
no
Brian?
idea.
You know
I
why?
don't think I know that.
It's because it's the idea that on Friday after Thanksgiving is the day that retailers and businesses actually turn into the black out of the red, where they become profitable before the year because they're made enough money for that year that they're going to become profitable, and they're out of the red, losing money, into the black. And that's going to be a harder hole this year because the red is bigger for so many of these businesses. And we just say, look, we want to help you get into that next step. See, I taught you guys something this morning.
Let me tell you something. You wake up every single day and you hope that you learn one thing. Okay. You know what? It's 10:47 in the morning here. I'm good.
You've already accomplished it.
Yep.
I'm good.
All right. Well, I've kind of got on my soapbox today, and we'll get off here as we close up here and kind of get a little, a little drive, because we're excited. It's holiday season. I've got an email going out later today that has some of these things talking about the POS. We're going to start trying to give you that. If you want to have a conversation about this and just start dreaming, shoot me an email. I would love to. I love talking about this. I love thinking about how retailers can change. I love coming up with ideas. And I don't think it's bad just to walk in and say, hey, I've been thinking about your business. Here are 5 things I think you could try. Maybe not. It's not. It's your business. You choose. I just wanted to know that I was thinking about you. Gentlemen, as we get ready and we finish up, I want to know, Brian Linke, why are you excited about Holiday 2020? Why are you excited about PayProTech? And what can you say to our partners to get them excited, and those partners that are on the edge and just thinking about jumping in with us to get us excited for holiday season 2020?
Well, again, I just said again, and Danny's gonna laugh, but when you go back into existing merchants, right? I mean, it's such a non-aggressive, right? When you're going cold calling and you feel like you're being aggressive, we're running these promotions now. Where you can go back in, like we were just talking about, and that the light bulb went off in my head, because I'm going to call my merchants and figure out a flyer or an email or something to give them that we're offering now. And you can go back into existing merchants, like you said, Nate. What can I do to help you? And this is just a way to do it, and it's a way to to help people and to make more money.
Danny, how about you? As you work with our partners, what are you looking to do to help them? And we're excited. I mean, we saw a great day yesterday. I've heard the rumblings that we're starting to see more POS lead. I watched that, and I want to see that POSlead.com just shoot through the roof with the number of leads we're putting in, because we're using the POS Pros. We're using it to start. What are you excited about? How are you getting those partners pumped?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much right now to talk about. If you as a partner, if your heads are spinning, I understand, because ours are too, because there's just so many new things that we're coming out with to help you sell more. So I just can't stress enough to lean on us, lean on our teams, lean on your relationship managers. Let us help you, right? From new sponsor banks with later funding times, to Pay Anywhere getting same-day funding, to the Q4 bonus and POS promotion that we've got now. I mean, it's just, we're a week into it, and there's so many options, and there's a lot to talk about. So a lot of excitement, a lot of things for you to take advantage of as a partner, but let us help you. Lean on us as much as possible. Brian, myself, our entire team, we're all here to help you and understand as you can take advantage of every opportunity you've got.
All right. On that, gentlemen, we're going to say thank you. Thank you very much for everybody joining us. We're glad that you are part of the High Five Nation. We're going to continue thinking about things differently, helping you make sure that you take your business to the next level by helping more merchants grow their businesses. And together, it's all of a win for all of us. Let's do this together. Thank you. High five, everybody. We will see you on Friday. We're going to talk a little more specifically about Holiday 2020 and how we would pitch this to both businesses as we walk in, because you've got a lot of value to add to merchants across the U.S. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. This has been the
Thank
High
you, Nate.
Five.
Love this topic.